Sergio Perez's exit from Red Bull was hardly a surprise, even though it had been rumored for a while. The announcement officially confirmed that the Mexican driver will no longer race for the team, making way for Liam Lawson to join Max Verstappen for the 2025 season. But with Perez now out of the picture, many are wondering what comes next for him. While 2025 doesn't offer any available seats, the question remains whether he has a future in Formula One or whether he will move on to something new. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, has made it clear that there is no space for Perez in the sister team, AlphaTauri. The team is shifting its focus to becoming more independent, distancing itself from the past philosophy that saw drivers like Pierre Gasly and Alexander Albon drop down from Red Bull. However, Horner believes that Perez will still be a part of Red Bull, though his role will likely be more behind the scenes, possibly as an ambassador for the team. Perez's connection to the Latin American market cannot be ignored, especially considering his strong fan base in Mexico. There were concerns that the Mexican Grand Prix could lose some of its significance without Perez racing there. But as his future in Formula One hangs in the balance, one thing is certain: there's a lot at stake for both Perez and Red Bull. As the 2025 season approaches, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding Sergio Perez's future. While Red Bull has no immediate plans for him in their future lineup, his options for next year are limited. According to Christian Horner, the philosophy of AlphaTauri is evolving, and Perez no longer fits the direction they're heading. The team is looking to become more independent, which means no room for the experienced driver who once helped Red Bull during their 2021 title defense. Perez himself has made it clear that his focus right now is on family. He's expressed the need to step back from Formula One, a sport that demands so much time and energy. After a strong start to the season, with 4 podiums in 5 races, things started to go downhill for Perez, especially after the Monaco Grand Prix. The difficulties he faced were significant, and Red Bull has tried everything to support him, but it's clear that the relationship between the two parties has reached its conclusion. From Perez's camp, there's been talk that he hasn't been the one to end the contract, but with limited opportunities for 2025, it seems like the right time for a break. There is no seat for him at any other top teams, and even though he's one of the most seasoned drivers on the grid, it's unclear if another team will be able to offer him a competitive ride. Looking ahead to 2026, some intriguing possibilities could open up for Perez, but it's still uncertain. While there might be an opportunity at Alpine or with new teams like Cadillac, the reality is that Perez's performance with one of the best cars on the grid has been underwhelming. Despite his experience, he struggled to maintain the performance Red Bull expected, especially when the car underwent changes. This has made it harder to see him leading a team into the future. Perez has also been a significant figure for Red Bull's financial and marketing strategies, especially in Latin America. His departure leaves a gap, and Red Bull will have to adjust to the loss of his supporters, particularly sponsors who have backed him throughout his career. Carlos Slim, Perez's longtime sponsor, has already made it clear that if Sergio is no longer part of Red Bull, his financial backing will not continue. This could have a big impact on the team's financial situation. For now, Perez's main priority seems to be taking time off and focusing on family. His decision is not just about stepping away from racing, but also about figuring out what comes next. He's hinted that if his time in Formula One is over, he might consider other racing categories, perhaps in sports cars, but that decision will only come after some time away from the sport. Christian Horner has been clear in stating that the decision for Perez to leave the team was his own, influenced by his desire to spend more time with his family. However, Perez's father, Antonio, has added a bit more context to the situation, suggesting that Sergio doesn't yet have a concrete plan for the future. According to Antonio, this exit from Formula One is more definitive than fans might think. There is no plan B or C in place at the moment, and for now, the focus is solely on family time. Despite the uncertainty, it's worth remembering that Perez's journey in Formula One has been full of comebacks. His career began to truly rise when he joined Racing Point, where he was considered one of the best midfield drivers. He helped Red Bull secure crucial points in their 2021 title defense, and in 2023, he finished second in the championship. But the challenges with Red Bull in 2024, coupled with growing struggles on the track, have made it clear that his time with the team is up. Now, with Red Bull's decision to promote Liam Lawson into the seat next to Max Verstappen, the team is moving forward. The choice of Lawson over experienced drivers like Yuki Tsunoda or Daniel Ricciardo raised some eyebrows, but it was clear that Red Bull sees potential in the young driver. Lawson's performances in just 11 races have shown resilience and strong race pace, giving the team confidence in his ability to rise to the challenge. As Lawson prepares to take the reins at Red Bull for 2025, the pressure will be immense. He'll be stepping into one of the most high-profile positions in Formula One alongside Max Verstappen, one of the sport's best drivers. Horner has made it clear that the key will be not putting too much pressure on Lawson. While he's shown mental resilience and great pace, it's crucial that he focuses on improving his skills without the added stress of comparing himself too closely to Verstappen. Lawson's performance in Abu Dhabi during the tire test impressed the engineers, and they're optimistic about his growth in the upcoming season. His work ethic and attitude have also made a strong impression on the Red Bull team, and there's a belief that, with time, Lawson's potential will only grow. Despite the challenges that come with replacing a driver of Perez's caliber, the team is confident that Lawson will adapt and make the most of the opportunity. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda, who had hoped for a promotion, will remain involved with Red Bull in a support role, just in case anything goes wrong with Lawson's transition. Tsunoda, however, has his sights set on securing a top seat in the near future, with Aston Martin emerging as a potential destination. As for Perez, while his Formula One future is uncertain, the fact remains that he has left a lasting impact on the sport. As Perez's future remains up in the air, the focus is now on what comes next for him after his departure from Red Bull. It's a big moment in his career, and the uncertainty surrounding his next move has left many wondering what path he might choose. While a return to Formula One seems unlikely, there are still plenty of opportunities outside the sport that could appeal to him. Perez has always been a strong competitor, and even though his time in Formula One might be ending, he could find success in other racing disciplines, such as endurance racing or sports cars. However, Perez's exit also raises questions about Red Bull's strategy. With Lawson taking Perez's seat, and Red Bull making moves to keep their focus on younger talent, the team is making a clear shift towards the future. But will this move pay off in the long run? It's still too early to tell, and only time will reveal whether Red Bull's gamble on Lawson will be the right one. In the meantime, Perez's supporters will continue to look back on his impressive career in Formula One, especially his role in Red Bull's 2021 title defense. While his time with the team might not have ended the way he or his fans had hoped, it's important to remember the significant contributions he made during his time at the top. Now, as the Formula One landscape shifts with new drivers and fresh faces, Perez's next steps will be one of the most closely watched stories in motorsport. Sergio Perez's exit from Red Bull was hardly a surprise, even though it had been rumored for a while. The announcement officially confirmed that the Mexican driver will no longer race for the team, making way for Liam Lawson to join Max Verstappen for the 2025 season. But with Perez now out of the picture, many are wondering what comes next for him. While 2025 doesn't offer any available seats, the question remains whether he has a future in Formula One or whether he will move on to something new. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, has made it clear that there is no space for Perez in the sister team, AlphaTauri. The team is shifting its focus to becoming more independent, distancing itself from the past philosophy that saw drivers like Pierre Gasly and Alexander Albon drop down from Red Bull. However, Horner believes that Perez will still be a part of Red Bull, though his role will likely be more behind the scenes, possibly as an ambassador for the team.